This week, Lilah's come a very long way with her acclimation to the head halter, both just getting it on and off, and then also getting the leash clipped on and going out for a walk in the big wide world. She did a really good job of adjusting and getting used to this tool. We want to make sure that we're calmly seated while I hook up this equipment because it is a little complicated when you first try it, and until you get used to it, it can be a little difficult to manage. But she's very good at sitting still and waiting for me now. Here we're practicing our wait at the door. That door will only open and continue to remain open if she remains in the seated position. If at any time she stands up, moves towards the door, or leaves her seated position, that door will close, we'll reset, and try again. You'll notice that I'm still heavily rewarding Lilah with treats for her performance, and that's pretty important at this stage still. Even though she performs well with the tool on, she still does have moments where she really needs that positive reinforcement to keep up her good momentum. I will recommend that you continue to lure and treat every time she puts her face into the head halter for probably the next 6 weeks to really create a solid foundation and positive association with the tool so that it never becomes an object of hesitation or fear. The key to walking with the head harness is really to maintain slack in that leash, because what we're working with is a tool that controls where our dog's head goes. So here Lilah has a little moment. When we refocus, I just physically put my hand under her face. I'll lure her away with a treat. We'll get back to our walk. We act like nothing happened. Continue on. But back to what we were saying, because this is a tool that controls the direction of the head, we want to be gentle with it. We don't want to yank or pull harshly. We could possibly do damage to the neck that way. What we're looking for is a controlled loose leash walk, where the dog has plenty of slack in the leash, but also gives us a little more control over the dog's ability to pull and mush us down the street. I work with a 6-foot lead with Lilah, and she seems to respond really well to this amount of length of leash just for your casual walk. But it's also the appropriate amount of leash for Lilah to generally walk in the heel or heel adjacent position with me. I do ask Lilah to walk on my left side. I'm a right-handed person. If I carry a firearm or any form of self-defense, even my phone is usually in my right-hand pocket. We want to make sure that our dominant and most dexterous hand is available in case of an emergency. This can also prevent accidental discharge of a weapon. If you are left-handed, it's advisable that your dog walk on your right side. I'll regularly reward Lilah for coming up and staying in the heel position. In this particular moment, I don't have a treat in my hand, but I give her a quick little scratch on the nose. There are quite a few people milling up about at the park. The weather's nice. Of course, I expect this to be the case. As you can see, although there are some general distractions, she's still giving me slack in that leash. I'm essentially walking Lilah with 2 fingers. Any pressure that she applies on that leash is not enough pressure to pull that leash from my fingers. Here we have another moment with the head halter. I have a treat in my hand. So I just hold her chin up for a moment to prevent her from pawing at her face, use that treat to lure her in the sit position and readjust. There are 2 people approaching us, one from behind and one to the side. Since Lilah was already seated, I went ahead and tried to keep her in that position while they both passed. I do offer a treat to kind of distract her, but it's just not quite enough. She barks pretty intimidatingly, actually, at the gentleman that walks near us on the sidewalk. So when Lilah has this bad reaction, what do? So I remain calm. I take 3 short steps back, which places us just off the sidewalk, gives us a little more space between us and the gentleman that walked past. As soon as Lilah's body posture relaxes, I release the pressure on that head halter. We get into a sit position, our loose leash again. We say, okay, let's go, and we go on about our walk as if it never happened. She seems a little more comfortable with the next person that walks by. This person is female, but also we've already had this experience once. Nothing happened. I was all right, and we went on about our walk. We do this again. This time she dismisses that person. She gets a reward for coming along with me and continuing on. Lilah loves her walks, and she's very confident. She wants to lead the walk. So now we have to kind of establish that we want to be walking at the same pace. I'm not jerking or pulling on that head halter at all. Whenever she pulls ahead of me, the only pressure that's happening is the pressure that she's applying on her own. So if she walks beside me, there will be no pressure on that leash, and I'm not going to jerk or yank that leash to have her come back to me. In fact, there are going to be moments where she gets ahead, checks herself, and comes back on her own before there's any pressure on the head halter at all. And in those moments, she gets a heavy reward, either affection or food-based. The next big training goal for Lilah's leash walking is going to be maintaining focus. This is what I'm looking for right here, is where she's looking up and giving me eye contact while in that heel position. This is the ideal heel walk. The dog is checking in, whether to receive a treat or to give me that eye contact. At this point, I want her focused on me during our walks. The specific tool that we used to achieve this result was a Holt brand head halter. This is a size 3. It fits her very well. For the best results, I would recommend that you practice with this tool daily. Even if you're not going for a walk, take the opportunity to practice putting her nose through the hoop and getting suited up. Heavily reward for at least the next 6 weeks so that we can make sure we're really reinforcing the best possible behavior while we're out on our walks.